Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 3-Minute Warning. This is the sports show where we take 5 of the hottest sports topics and break them down in 3 minutes or less. I'm David Griffin, one of your hosts. I'm joined by Michael Medina.
Hello, how you guys doing?
We also have Stephen Fox. He's the producer, the man in the booth, making everything happen back up there. Say hi, Stephen.
What's up?
So today we're going to just get right into it, folks. To dive right in. We're going to talk about Tim Tebow being back in the NFL.
Back. Whether you like it or not, he's back.
Well, he's not really back.
Well, kind of.
But the Eagles invited him to work out.
Yes, they did.
In the QB position. His QB coach is repping him. He's saying he's doing well. He looks better.
Yeah, no, he is. And you know, and that's the thing. I know he's been working with the quarterback's coach. We all know what he can do. You know, he's got that winning personality. He's a fighter. He's a winner. But technique-wise, skill-wise, not quite there. Not quite there.
He's one of those quarterbacks who was so dynamic in college. Heisman Trophy winner.
Yes.
He had that loss. He had a loss. He had that famous press conference where he said, "I will never let that happen again." That was embarrassing. And, I mean, people love Tebow. He's likable. He's one of those guys that, you know, if you're a parent, you probably let your daughter date him. You know, he's just one of those guys who seems like a generally good guy. You don't hear a lot of off-the-field controversy. No. So you actually, as a human being, let's put sports fan out of it. Maybe just as a human being, you want him to do well.
You do.
But when you watch him throw the football sometimes, it's just not quite there.
It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly. And then you have to wonder what Chip Kelly's doing having him training with the Eagles. I mean, there's already been a number of crazy things happening.
Well, the crazy thing is because let's call him Sanchez. You know, the Sanchez is at the Eagles right now.
Yes.
So everybody maybe get a Tim Tebow Sanchez reunion.
Maybe, and the thing is, I mean, if I have somebody like Sanchez, he's not the greatest quarterback, but I think right now I'd have to stick with Sanchez over someone like Tebow. Tebow hasn't really proven himself as far as like being able to have the skills. I mean, say what you will about Sanchez, he did take him a couple of back-to-back AFC Championship games. You know, he's been in the league, you know, something that Tebow can't do for a number of years. So, you know, you got to give him that credit.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're asking the question, like, could Tebow play a different position?
I think he could. I think he should.
It seems like I don't want to call him prideful, but it seems like he's just not willing to adjust. He won't adjust. He won't change. He's like, I'm going to be a quarterback. Some people said maybe he could be a tight end.
Absolutely. I respect the guy for wanting to have that drive and belief in himself, I guess, for wanting to like go out and like, no, I can do this. But, I mean, realistically, I mean, the guy's built, he's a big guy. He's bigger,
big.
He's stronger than
Works
Sanchez.
hard, yeah, hard
He
worker.
could be a fullback. He could be a tight end. Personally, I'd like to see him as a tight end, you know?
Because in college at Florida, you run those spread offenses. You have, you know, the quarterback can run, he can option off. When you get in the pros, the defensive ends, the defensive line, but they're so fast.
Absolutely. You got like linebackers run like 4 threes or whatever, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, if Tebow if he would just adjust and just do something different. I mean, right now, if you want to see Tebow, if you can't watch him, I believe he works for the SEC network.
Yes, yeah.
Which is associated with CBS. I mean, he's doing some announcing, looking good in the suit.
Looking good in the suit,
sharp,
yeah,
you know?
looking good.
I mean, he's good. I mean, you know, he's likable, like very likable. Tim Tebow's a likable guy.
But here's the thing. I mean, he's roughly, I believe he's 27 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still young, but you have to imagine the window of opportunity is closing. If he really wants to get back into the league, you know, he might have to adjust. I mean, let's see what he can do as a quarterback, you know what I mean? If he can win that position, good luck.
His coach is repping for him. His coach is saying his spiral's looking better.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the Eagles aren't going to sign him. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Bottom line of this is the Eagles are not going to sign him, but he tried.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow has tried. You got to give it A for effort. So let's go ahead and reset that clock because we just got time here. Got it. Reset the clock. We're going to go to CM Punk now.
Wrestling.
CM Punk, wrestling. WWE. Wrestling, CM Punk wants Brock Lesnar to come back into the fold. Brock Lesnar, champion, heavyweight champion, for a time. CM Punk trying to follow in his footsteps, and become a UFC fighter. He's been training for a while now. His first fight probably won't. He hasn't been announced. Nothing's been announced formally, but his first fight probably won't be until the end of this year, possibly early 2016.
Yeah, and that's the thing about somebody like Brock Lesnar coming back. I mean, this is a guy that won a national championship as a wrestler.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
legit, yeah.
And he knows his stuff. He has the background. Right now, he's getting older. You know what I mean? He's done his thing in UFC. He's done his thing with WWE. He doesn't even wrestle on a regular basis anymore. You know, so I can't imagine why he would even want to put himself through that, like just going back to UFC and just having to fight, like, what, 3 fights a year roughly, something like, why even do that at this point?
The tough thing, too, you have to realize with Brock is he was sick. He had his last fight in the UFC was against Alistair Overeem, who's this huge K1 kickboxing champion. Like, you know, you see like on Kickboxer on the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Tough dude. He had one strong kick to the stomach and Brock was out. It's not because he's a bad fighter, but it's just because he was so weak physically, and his ailment kept bothering him because he could never retain the title. He could never retain the belt, and he had to retire. But he is his contract is almost up. He will be a free agent in a month. A free agent from the WWE.
Yes.
So he is free. CM Punk wants him to come back. I'm not sure that's a great idea. I don't want to see him get hurt. I loved watching Brock. He was the biggest UFC draw for a few years there.
I think CM Punk needs to worry about getting his training because this is a whole other world.
Right, and that leads us into the next. I mean, what is CM Punk? I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, is he for real?
I don't know, because here's the thing. It's like wrestling, look it, say what you will about it. I enjoy wrestling. There's a lot of skill, a lot of technique that's involved. We all know it's not real. But these guys, breaking. No, but it's like these guys really put like a lot of punishment on their bodies and stuff, but not to the same extent as like UFC. You know, and I mean there's a lot more different skill. He doesn't really have that background that Brock Lesnar had to just make that transition. So I don't know. I mean, with the proper training, maybe he could do it. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, you know, should these WWE fighters should they join the UFC? I mean, Well, I think a lot of it's going to. I mean, we had Ken Shamrock. Remember him back in the day?
Oh, way back in the day.
Way back in the day. Good, he's a strong fighter. Good, you know.
Well, you look at like Kurt Angle was, you know, an Olympic gold medalist.
Right. I mean,
let everybody know
they're
that.
athletes. They're athletes. But I think, especially like with Ronda Rousey, these type of people, you're seeing that these people are training from a young age. Just be like, hey, I'm a WWE wrestler. I'm a great athlete. I'm strong. To just go. I mean, if he gets embarrassed. In his first fight, if he gets like just knocked out.
The good thing is, again, like you said, like Ken Shamrock, like a lot of those guys did have prior experience going into the WWE, so they could probably make the transition. But not every wrestler has that, you know. So.
Yeah, not everybody's Brock. Brock was a beast. I miss Brock. I want to see him back. I'll be curious to see CM Punk. Oh, we're out of time. So go on to the next one. We're gonna talk about Jameis Winston.
Yes.
Famous Jameis, Florida State University, Heisman Trophy winner. Possibly the first overall pick in the draft, maybe.
Maybe.
He says that he is not going to go to the draft. He's not going to go to New York and, you know, wear the nice suit, probably, you know, the overpriced suit,
smile
and then go do a smile for the cameras. He's going to stay. Well, his lawyer is saying this, that because he's been through so much, his family has been so supportive that he's going to stay home and be with his family. Now, let's talk about controversy.
Yes, let's do that. We have like, you know, the crab legs, you know, shouting obscenities and all that nonsense.
You cannot go to a Publix. That's like a grocery store in the Florida area. It's like Kroger or something. Like, you can't go there with all those cameras. You're Jameis Winston. You're a big dude. You're 6'4". You're over 230. You can't walk in there, take some crab legs, just walk out.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't work that
not
way.
to get caught. Be like, oh, I just forgot to pay for them. It's like no one forgets to pay for crab legs.
Well, that's the thing. Given like the fact that he's surrounded by all this controversy, do you really want to add? He's got a bullseye on his back right now. So I feel like to announce something like this so far in advance of the draft and stuff, like you're kind of bringing this attention to. Maybe if it was like a week or so, like, you know, I really want to spend time with this family. That's one thing, and I can respect that. But I feel like he's almost just trying to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Be a hot button issue.
Yeah, because I mean, you're trying to. I guess I'll give him credit. There was a report that he had a meeting with Roger Goodell. He actually contacted Goodell, set up a meeting. We don't know exactly what was said, but I have a feeling that he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to tell his side of the story about what happened. You know, of course, with the sexual assault allegations, and you know, he's never taken to court. He's never arrested us. You know, he had the thing with the crab legs, but it's just everything he does is always controversy with him. He had that horrible incident. He stood up in some type of public forum on campus, and I won't say what he said, some expletive, some very bad words, very inappropriate things to say. He just doesn't seem to have it in the head. And I hope that doesn't affect him in the NFL.
And that's the thing is, like, you know, when you think about, can he make it as a pro? You know what I mean? He's got the skill set. We've seen what he could do. His sophomore season was he took a bit of a downslide. It wasn't quite as effective as his freshman year, but nonetheless, he's got the skills. We know that. The thing is, mentally, you know, is he going to be like another Jamarcus Russell, go number one and just not quite have it?
Gain 300 pounds.
Exactly.
Yeah, just go away. I mean, he's rumored to be going with the Buccaneers.
I mean, that's the
he has Marcus Mariota, who, as a person, seems like a much more likable guy. Has his head on straight, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's going to be tough for Jameis. He really needs to prove that he has. I mean, just so many stories with guys just falling apart.
Well, that's the thing. If you're like Tampa Bay or any NFL team for that matter, would you want to take a chance on a guy like this? You know what I mean? Because you think about all that extra baggage he's going to be bringing to your team. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to take the risk. I
mean, Jameis in the pro, I mean, you know, what do you think? Can he make it? Is he good enough? Is he going to succeed? We'll see. I'm rooting for him. I'm a Florida State fan for college football, so I'm rooting for him. I want him to do well. We're going to go ahead. We're going to reset that clock. We're going to the next topic. We're going to talk about Rory McIlroy.
Yes.
The new Tiger Woods.
New cover boy.
#1 golfer in the world right now, PGA Tour. From Ireland. He's going to be the cover boy of the new EA Sports PGA Tour game.
Yes.
He's a cover boy.
Yeah.
They announced the cover yesterday, or at least they announced that he's going to be on the cover.
Yeah.
That's big news.
That is big news.
No more. I mean, Tiger Woods is. I mean, we might be living in the post-Tiger Woods era. Tiger Woods out.
And here's the thing about that. It's like I think
he's gone.
He's retired. No, I think we're heading in that direction. I don't think we're there yet, though. But I think we're getting close. I mean, obviously, this is all like, he's got some issues right now going on in his head right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, like as
Jack
an
has
athlete,
even said it's like he thinks that with Tiger, it's completely mental.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Let's look at baseball, for example. It's like you can take like the greatest hitter in the world and stuff, but something goes on, something's wrong. He hits that slump where he can't get a hit in like 20-something games. So stuff like that happens. So I mean, his skill is there. I'm sure that it's not like that just disappeared.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just some kind of mental block he needs to get over and stuff. So maybe the time off will be good for him. He can work on that. It'll be the Tiger of old. I still think he's got a little more gas in the tank.
He's got it. I mean, Jack won a Masters at 47. I mean, look at Tiger. Everybody's talking about Rory right now. Rory's the big news. You got to look at Tiger's numbers. Tiger has 79 PGA Tour wins. 79 at 39 years old. He has 40 European Tour wins. Rory has, I believe, 19 total. Like 9 PGA Tour, 10 European. Rory's great. He's 25 years old. He's young. He's in the prime. He's a great player. He'll probably get better as he gets into his late 20s, early 30s. But, I mean, Tiger's king. Tiger's total win is just 3 behind Sam Snead, who was born in 1912. I mean, Sam Snead's like one of the greatest golfers of all time.
His numbers are just
It's
ridiculous.
insane how good he is. So, I mean, Tiger's name is a draw. Tiger brought all these different kinds. I mean, I've been to several golf tournaments. He brought in, kids from the inner city, just trying to, just expand golf. It doesn't have to be, for lack of a better word, it doesn't have to be a white sport.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's safe to say he was kind of like the Michael Jordan of golf. Like,
Yeah.
he made golf cool.
Yeah.
And people that didn't care anything about golf suddenly like, oh, Tiger Woods. At least I
Right.
know one golfer. You know what I mean? So
Jordan
yeah.
has his shoes. Tiger has his brand. That TW that he wears on his head all the time. I mean, he was huge. So, I mean, I don't know, can Rory carry the franchise? Is he going to be as big of a draw, you think, for EA Sports in their video game franchise?
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's been a few years since they put a game out. So
It's been a while. They had to take a break. So, but quickly, I want to ask you, what's your favorite EA Sports? We're on the topic of video games. EA Sports is the king of sports video games. What's your favorite?
My favorite would be Madden. Madden's like an annual event for me every single year. Have to get Madden. But FIFA would be a close second.
For me, it's FIFA. My recent love of football. European football has brought me into love with FIFA. Always Chelsea. Always winning everything, winning all the trophies.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know about always winning everything.
Come on now. So that's my favorite. So we're gonna go on to the next topic. Reset the clock here. We're gonna talk some baseball.
Yes, we are.
Michael is a huge baseball fan, specifically Pete Rose. Pete Rose is always huge. Always big news every year.
Man.
But the thing is, now we have a new commissioner.
Yes.
Bud Selig is out. He's gone. That was a long tenure he had. Pretty long tenure. Now we have a new head of Major League Baseball, and Pete Rose is petitioning to get back, to just take out his ban.
Yeah.
He has a lifetime ban
That's
from baseball, lifetime till he dies. That's
pretty
insane.
much.
Yeah.
No, it is insane, and it's like I think about somebody like, especially living in this post-PED era. When you look at like what Pete Rose has done, I mean, there's no one's going to argue the fact that he is the all-time hit king. He bet on baseball. Yes, that's wrong. I'm not justifying his actions. Nonetheless, I mean, you can't say that he cheated while playing. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't. Like, you can make that argument for someone like a Barry Bonds, a Mark McGwire. All his numbers, that was all him. Again, his nickname, Charlie Hustle. I mean, he was just like one of the hardest players to ever play the game. He just made a stupid mistake, So it's like you can't help but wonder. It's like this is a guy that's been banned for like what I think it was '89 roughly when this went down. So it's like I would like this guy to at some point be put into the Hall of Fame before he's dead. Well,
let me ask you a question, Michael. What's worse? Baseball seems there's always big controversy with baseball. In the NFL, somebody gets tested for performance-enhancing drugs. Maybe they get like a three-game ban. It always seems very small and minute. With baseball, it's huge.
Yes.
A-Rod, I mean, you're out for half the season, which is what 60+ games.
Yeah.
I mean, all the games baseball players.
Well,
I mean,
162.
162, yeah. So 80,
half a season.
So half a season is 80 games. So I mean, what do you think is worse? Is it worse what Pete Rose did, or is PEDs worse? Or are they the same? Are they both just cheating? Or breaking the rules is breaking the rules.
Both are bad, but like a lot of people will make the argument about like, well, if you're taking performance-enhancing drugs, well then, taking steroids, it's not going to help you see the ball any better, but it's going to maybe add a couple extra feet to like a home run. So maybe a ball that would have been like maybe warning track, you know what I mean, might go over the fence. You know, so it's like you have to be like, because he did say that he never cheated on, or I'm sorry, never bet on the games that he was, you know, player coach of. You know, so what he did, not justifying again, but what he did never had any like direct repercussions on what, you know, the games itself.
Likelihood, let's say the ban's removed.
Yes.
What's the likelihood that we're going to see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
If the ban is removed, I'd have to say like almost automatically. I mean, if he's going to be let back into baseball, then you've got to let the all-time hit king back in.
I mean,
you know?
let's look at his legacy. Has the baseball community, you think they've forgiven him?
I think for the most part, I think like a lot of hardcore fans, like the good thing about when people talk about Pete Rose, yes, the betting and all the ban, that always comes up, but the number one thing seems to always be the fact that he is the hit king. And I mean, he just destroyed that record. And the fact that, again, he was such a hard-nosed player, you know, and I think people like that and they respect it. And I'm talking about like, you know, the educated baseball fans that know what he did. Again, you know that what he did was wrong. Maybe in retrospect now, maybe not as bad as like the PEDs or whatnot, but still, you look at what he's done, you look at the numbers, he definitely deserves it. Honestly, that's it.
That's our show.
No more Pete.
That's our show.
No more
That's our
Pete.
show this week.
He's going to get in.
Do you forgive Pete Rose? Is Pete Rose forgiven in your eyes? That's our show. That's 3-Minute Warning for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with more 3-Minute Warning. Please sure to use the hashtag 3MW. We have a Friday show, casual show. We're going to do what's called our Sports Lounge. So send your questions and comments in so we can use them for the show. And thanks again for joining us here on 3-Minute Warning on the Stream.tv.